Hey everyone, it's Justin. Thank you for watching and welcome to my house. In this video, I'm back in my new PDI because I released my old PDI and I need to get my mid server back up and running. My mid server is critical to my backup strategy, and you can see here I have no mid servers on this new PDI. So the first order of business is I need to create a mid server account. Now remember, I already have a mid server running in a container, so I have a little bit less work to do than this video that you might have seen in previous videos where I stood up one from scratch. So first step is going to be to create that user. So I'm going to hop over to sys_user.list, or I could just search for users and go to the user table. You can see very light. I don't have a lot going on, so I'm going to create new here. I've got some documentation over here on my left on how I set up my mid server before, so I'm just going to keep everything the same. I think I called it pedantic wing was the user ID, and I will just call this, actually let's just stay with the theme there. We'll call it pedantic wing. And am I going to be able to set a password? I want to set a password. Set up the save record and collect set password. Alright, we'll save. I hope I don't have some nonsense around. Okay, there's the set password button, and let's see, generate. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to copy this password. Alright, so new mid server password, and that's okay, it's going to be another new one, and that's fine. I'm going to show you how I deal with this on my container. So there, I've got my password in there. I'm going to uncheck password needs reset. I'm going to save it again, and then the last thing I want to do here is assign it a role for mid server. So I'm going to scroll down to roles there, and it's just behind my head. There is an edit button right there, so I'm just going to click edit, and we should be able to add the role that I need for mid server. MID, there it is, mid server, save. Okay, and then that adds some other roles automatically. So you can see the SOAP, update, script, query, create, in addition to the mid server role. Actually, there's a lot more there. There's 8 new roles I got there from assigning the mid server role, but that's all I need to do here. I've got my name, I got my password, so I'm going to go back to where we just were looking at my mid servers, because we're going to check back in here after I get done. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is bring up my container. Now I'm going to warn you, there's going to be a lot of blurring in here because it's going to have a password and it's going to have my instance URL, and I'm going to blur those out, but I'll explain what I'm doing as I'm doing that. So bring this over so you can see it. Okay, so what this is, what you're looking at, let me put it over here, is this is a Windows box that I'm remoted into that has my Docker desktop running. Now yes, I could be running Docker desktop on my Mac, which is what I'm recording on, but I'm of the kind of opinion person. I'm the kind of person of the opinion to leave well enough alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it's been working great, my whole backup strategy has been working great. It only sucks when I have to release my PDI and rebuild it all over again. But you can see in this container, in the environment variables, it has my instance URL, the mid password, and the mid username, which I'm going to have to modify when I kick off this this image to run. So we're going to open up Windows Subsystem for Linux here, and I'm going to go ahead and run that using some new variables for those environment variables. And in fact, let me put this here so I can see the name of those. So and now I've got to reference my documentation on how I actually do this. It's been a minute since I've done this, so I'm going to go back here and drag this on. I've got a third screen over on my right. Can never have enough screens, and what I've got pulled up is my video where I set up the mid server for the first time. So actually I'll show you what I'm looking at. This is what I'm looking at, and I stopped it on the screen where it's showing the command line to run my Docker container. So that's why I'm actually referencing it, and instead of doing this environment file, I'm going to do something different. Okay, here we go. So I'm actually paid attention to, let me do one other thing. I'm going to do Docker image list. Yeah, so I can see all my Docker images. The one that's behind me right there, this magical Chatterjee, is, let's see, I'm looking at this right here. The blue underlined piece matches this one right here. So the name of this server is mid with a tag of Tokyo 3. That's going to be important here in a second. So I'm going to follow the command of docker run, and then I'm going to do --env. Instead of, I'm going to do mid instance URL equals, and then I'm going to type in the name of my new PDI. There it is behind me. So https:// dev I'm just not going to say that out loud because I'm going to blur it out. .service-now.com. And then I also need to set the password change, as you saw when I was just setting it. So mid underscore instance underscore password equals. And then in here, I'm going to right click again, edit, and paste. All right, cool. I got my password over. And then that's all I should need. Now I just need the name of that image. So I'm just going to put mid::Tokyo 3 and cross my fingers and hope this works. We'll see if we get an error message. Unexpected error, unexpected token. Okay. That's because the password is just a big bunch of mess and I didn't escape anything. So there is a paren and a caret and oh man, what a mess. Okay. So, plan B here. I'm going to have to spin up a new container, which I haven't done in a bit. I'm going to, so this notepad is actually editing the file that I need to edit, so that's good. Everything's there. I just need to change the URL. So we're going to do this a little bit differently. I'm kind of going on the fly here and change the URL in this text file. Now this text file is sitting in the recipe for the Docker image. So I had to do this before, so that's probably why it pulled up in Notepad++ when I pulled it up. So updated the URL, password's updated, name's the same, and the mid-server name's going to stay the same, so that's fine. And so instead of doing the command line we did here, I'm going to try a different one, which actually is going to match my video pretty closely here. So run -env-file/mount/c/users. Okay, and then it's going to be in my OneDrive /Docker recipes, and then it's mid-Linux and all that mess, and then I'm going to do /mid.env, which is a file that I just edited in Notepad++. You can see it there. It ends in, maybe you won't be able to see it, mid.env. And then I'm going to put that same, so my video has a different image ID, but I'm going to use the image ID I showed you earlier. So I'm going to use this one right here. I'm going to type that in there. C11276DD78 BD. I'm actually hesitating because look, this one has BD on the end, but it doesn't have it on the end up here. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but we'll try it again and hit enter. And hey, something's happening. I think what'll happen is that it'll create a new container here. Oh, there's 4 items. Let me scroll down. Okay, now got a new one here called Pedantic Lichterman is now running. Okay, so it's running off to the races. It's doing its thing. And actually the first thing it's doing is it's upgrading. So you can see it's grabbing patch 2 hotfix 1 for Vancouver. So that means it's successfully connected to my instance. So now we should be able to go back here and hit refresh, and I should see a mid-server. Yes, I got my mid-server. It is upgrading, so we're going to let it upgrade. And the last thing, whoops, I didn't want bitwarden. The last thing that I want to do after this gets done upgrading is I want to run a backup. Okay, so again, the video I made last week was about, hey, if you're PDI, you need to be backing up. So the first thing I'm doing, well, actually the first thing I did is I got my ServiceNow store updates application in there because I had an episode to record for last week. And so I got that done. It was a mess. There's a lot of manual work and it's not fully up and running yet, but I was able to get the episode out late on Friday. So now I want to make sure my backups are running so I can begin to fix everything and use my system as it's intended. And part of using my system as it's intended is adding information, updating files, creating content records, making sure I'm checking all the stuff that I need to do to publish content. And I don't want to do that in my PDI if backups aren't running, because otherwise I'm doing work that's just going to disappear if something happens. So backups are super, super important, and this mid server is a huge part of that. Okay, I just saw it come back up and the CPU usage went down to like 1%. So I think it's done. Let's check on ServiceNow, see if the upgrade is complete. It is up. So we're going to open the mid server and we're going to validate it, and we'll pull back up that window once I hit validate so we can watch that go. So basically when it validates, it takes it up and down, and we're going to go all that, allow all applications, all capabilities, all IP ranges, great. And we'll just move this off a little bit so we can monitor back here the validating and validated, and when it's validated you can see now it's shutting down and restarting. Alright, so this isn't going as planned. I don't know why it has a name conflict. Encountered an error ensuring agent on record on the instance retrying. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to kill that, and we're going to go to the mid server. I'm going to stop it. Alright, and we're going to start it again. And if I wanted to watch the console, I could just come in here and see the same thing like we were seeing before. So basically I'm getting out of that Windows subsystem for Linux and going to watch it here directly in Docker Desktop. And man, same thing. What the heck? An active mid server with duplicate name detected. Alright, I'm just going to stop it again. Of course it's active. It's supposed to be validating. I'm just going to delete it. Delete. Alright. And we will start it up again. The nice thing about these containers is they're really, really lightweight, and you could do something like stopping it and starting it real quick like that. So we didn't get the name conflict this time, so it seems to be a little bit happier. Let's getting instance ACLs. Alright, that looks good. It's in its queue. Let's just hit refresh here. Alright, so it's back up and running, and this is like exactly where we started before. It is sending. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and validate again. Yes, save. And we should be able to watch it here. And it's shutting itself down. And it should restart itself. There it goes, it started. There's passing a key back and forth. Sure, if you're motivated, you could use that to hurt me. Installing packages, getting instance successfully loaded, reloaded. And it's validated. Okay, cool. So if you see over here what I was watching at the other side, besides watching that go back and forth, it did validate here. So, okay. So we are good. Mid server is back up and running. I'm back in business, and let's go ahead and run an export. So I'm going to go to scheduled exports. Actually, should I just go to export definitions? I can't remember which one to go to, but let's do my ideas list. Oh no, that's the wrong thing. So let's go export sets maybe. And ideas. Should be an execute now button is what I'm looking for. I'll know if where to export to, what to export. This is record is in the global application, so let's switch. Why is the record in the global application? Anyways, we'll deal with that later. Oh, because ideas. Yeah, ideas aren't part of my app. They're part of that. And there we go. There's my export data. I'm going to export data. And then we should be able to see that succeed or fail. I might need to repick the mid server because of the sysid is probably changed now, because that mid server that I exported the export definition with was in my previous PDI, probably had a unique sysid, and now since you just saw me recreate a mid server in this new PDI, it's going to have its own unique sysid. So I actually am just going to proactively kill this because I know it's probably not going to work. Look at all those that are still exporting. So that was the job kind of running itself, and it hasn't been working. But let's change this to export targets, and we should be able to pick. Well, I need to go to that target. Okay, so open. And yeah, there's exactly it. That's the sysid of my old mid server. So that's why it's a sysid. It shouldn't be showing that, and it should be this. So that means I'm gonna have to go through my export targets and update all those mid server values, but that's okay. So we'll update there, and now I should be able to. Can I cancel these? Let's just look. Let's go to that's the youngest one right there. I wonder if I can cancel export set. Okay. And then we'll just arrow down, cancel. cancel requested. And I'm just going to cancel all these. I probably don't need to do this, but I don't know. Seems weird to leave it there. And there we go. So now I've got everything there. Cancel, cancel, cancel. And now I'm going to, let's just do a test export of 20 records. There we go. Notice it came right up this time because it's not looking for that weird mid server with the sys_id that doesn't exist. It says it's successful. So we'll go back to here. We'll open up Windows Subsystem for Linux. And I want to get to my, this is me going into a bash command, and that's pointing to my old container, so I'm just going to change the container name. Notice I'm logging in as root. It's okay. Lichterman, Lichterman. That should get me in. And then I need to remember where this is. I think it's here. Yep. cd snc mid server, and then under agent, and then there should be an export folder. There it is. There's my ideas. So my ideas exported. If I do vi ideas, yep, I can see my ideas there. Perfect. Okay, so mid server is back up and running. Exports are working. What I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to go through all of my targets, export targets, and I need to update that mid server value. So notice how only ideas has the right mid server value, and all the rest of them don't. Actually, I guess I could do this while I'm here. It might not work if the application's not right. So let me put the application column in here and see if anything's, yeah, see how some of these aren't in global? So I'm not going to be able to update those. But let's see what I can update with you here to show you how fast I should be able to update those records. There we go. Same here. Windows Docker mid-01. There we go. And we can update that one. And I guess what I'll do offline is I'll switch between the applications and go update my other ones. But I want you to see how easy it is to get the. You can see I'm backing up a lot of stuff. And that's because if you're a good steward of your PDI and you don't want to lose anything, doing backups is kind of painless. And if you set up a good system, they'll run in the background. Let's see, these empty ones. And here's 3 more. Windows. There we go. So I've got everything that's not in a scoped app. And one more. Windows Docker mid-01. Okay. So just to prove, there you can see, let me go back to the beginning here. Let's just grab another one. Where's my content table? Content tag, content table. So the content table. Oh, I'm in targets. Export definition, exports. I need the export set. Let's see, export sets and content table, which is what I'm looking at. And we can preview that. No, I can't preview that because it says it's in Justin's house application, which I haven't updated. So let's go to one that I actually updated. Son of a biscuit. Export targets. I updated, let's see, export sets. So let's go to export sets and see if that, export sets, I should have one. So I back up my export sets, right? And then you got to think about that. Let's go ahead and export data. We should see a run here. Went to the right mid server, and we'll just come in here and we'll just do another ls. There's my export sets. So that's it. Now you just saw how it's not easy, but it's relatively painless. If I already had a mid server running in a container, I just needed to put in a new mid server password and username and URL for the instance, and some quick pivoting there to get everything up and running. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like, please subscribe, or share it with somebody who you think might be interested in setting up or resetting up their mid server in their PDI in ServiceNow. And until next time, don't forget to always be learning.